Atticus? Atticus? That was an awful dream. Hi, Bean. He's not here. Then where? Hey.
Hmm?
What you doing?
Writing.
Oh?
Couldn't sleep?
No. Bad dreams.
Hmm?
Not great dreams.
See. I apologize for stepping away. I figured at this, or at least this way, I have direct view down the hall, and this has been my preferred writing place. I would hand over what I have so far, but not exactly the most legible.
I would definitely need someone to translate.
Perhaps when it's finished.
Is that my name?
Indeed. The High Vessel seems to question my loyalty because I keep you as a friend. I don't understand the double standard where everyone else is allowed to have friends, yet the moment that I break of isolation in decades, I'm chastised for it.
I feel as if I've had a negative effect on your reputation.
No. You've at least, I believe, placed me in good graces with the Nigerian court that prior I had no connection with.
Fair, yes. They do seem to think highly of you.
I wouldn't consider that a stain on the reputation, and
No, but with your own court, which is the one that truly matters with you.
I believe it would be a requirement of the job to have trust within me. Even if she seemingly is beginning to have doubts regarding my loyalty, I do have trust that she will find it. Or at least gain her bearings. I fear that She believes my bias with the Enderians. Perhaps affects my loyalty. And as I believe mentioned to you, reportedly Balefire is now running an investigation, or wishing to.
I see.
I said to let him, but she seems to have other intentions in mind.
You mean she's trying to stop him from doing so?
Indeed. I told her that if he wishes to waste his time investigating, frankly, a whole lot of nothing, he's welcome to. If it would give me another good mark, then very well. I have nothing to hide. I'm sick of being a scapegoat. And I made this clear to her. As soon as portals were a problem that the Enderians decided they wished to have, they used me as their jumping off point to pressure and stir up conflict with me in order to get what they wanted. Jura, for whatever she plans or has in mind, immediately jumped to deflecting on me, and seemingly that still comes to bite me. I don't know where things are between Vincent and Ophelia, but it seems they're wishing to make me a source in that conflict as well.
The conflict that I dragged you into.
I wouldn't say.
Even though I invited you to the entire thing, and it's my fault that you're part of it now?
You needed protection. I wouldn't say you dragged me into anything. But regardless, despite the now countless examples of people deciding to use my demeanor against me, the High Vessel says, no, I am not the realm's scapegoat. It said something along the lines of that I was not subtle, and that calls me into question. I don't understand what she means by it. Perhaps subtle about my distaste for Enderians, but I believe that would be understandable given the history with the Stronghold, Jura, well, Jura doing as Jura did, Vincent behaving as he is. I believe it's warranted. I've met, I suppose, neutral Enderians, or even a few good ones. Sundu. Well, perhaps loyal to her kingdom above her friends, which I can't fault. Has been kind. The High Vessel introduced me to, I don't remember his name. It's a higher up. Chris Stark.
Ah,
and he...
the acting emperor.
Yes, that sounds right.
Hmm.
And he would at least fall neutral, Nothing positive, nothing negative. I kept an open mind to it, and not charging in starting conflict, I don't see the issue. And as I further believe I said to you, when I asked to meet, she told me I need to decide where my trust lies, because she can't keep me safe if I do not trust her. Yet, again, she seemingly can't trust my loyalty. The way I see it, I would hope they at minimum have trust in me as a man to uphold my responsibilities. I took on a responsibility as a guard, the duty to protect, and I have so far. Should that ever falter, should I ever, I suppose, have my doubts in even what I was protecting, I would hope they have enough trust in me to expect that I would say something, as I would. But instead, we're fighting an internal affair of Balefire, trying to launch an investigation, the High Vessel coming to my defense that I don't need. I don't get it. She had her doubts about me after the Jura situation, the initial one. And upon Jura's arrest, she was finally able to come to a trust. She made a big deal of apologizing to me regarding that she hadn't trusted me up until then fully. And that she wouldn't make the mistake again, yet here we are. Disappointing as all.
Maybe at this point a sit-down conversation to iron out everything is needed.
Again, it's exactly what I requested. And yet I was told that I had to decide where my trust lie. Further, thinking in terms of the High Vessel's concern about seemingly you, or at least your relation with me, I almost wonder if it's... I haven't been around their squadron for at least a good few days. I wonder if that is their concern. And yet, they don't write me, they don't loop me in, they don't missive. I still don't know exactly what my job is supposed to entail besides protect. I was given a key and dictated the sole judge, jury, and I suppose not executioner, but judge and jury of any prisoner. And yet, even still, they work around that. It's only when I actually show up at the door and ask what we're doing is it that I'm told. And thus I wonder if that's their concern, that I haven't been around. But as far as I see it, a good soldier follows orders. Without orders, there's only so much you can expect me to do.
I'm sorry I dragged you away so much.
No, do not be. I value our outings or dates or whatever the proper term for them would be. If they need me, they would ask, they would request, and I would be there. The way I see it, they haven't asked or requested or made any order. There is only so much that they can expect. I just don't get it is all.
I don't blame you. It's a complicated and confusing situation.
Indeed. Regardless, do not blame yourself for, as you said, pulling me away, or distracting me, or thinking yourself a mark against my reputation. I do not think you are any of that.
Truly?
Truly. You're a... suppose a sunrise. Or a break in the clouds. I believe I've told you about my father. How he drilled it into my head, or tried to teach me that everyone was after their own game. Everyone was after your head. Not one can be trusted. And it's been flippant as I've grown into my own skin and actually seen the world. I've met people who do fit his bill, and then I've met People like Sundu, or Paige, or yourself, who seem to be a genuine, worldly reminder of good conscience. And so even in times like these, in which I fear my worries get the best of me, where perhaps for moments I believe that my father truly was right, that you do not watch out for yourself, people will take advantage of any in they can get. Scum like Jura will pick up weakness, find that you don't talk all too much, and understand that she can spread a narrative, as no one will be able to back you up. People such as Ophelia may pick up the weakness that perhaps I've been given a poor impression of Endarians, and use that against me to try and justify her own bias. It's hard to see past these sorts of people. But you have all remind me that there is kindness, and that an idea for a better future may be built by people such as yourself.
The world needs more kindness anyway.
Right.
Do you think there ever will be a world where it's just kind people?
I don't know. I believe that by its sheer virtue, kind people often get overruled. People with malice in their hearts, or the ones that are capable of violence, will always be able to make it further. It's much easier to blade through somebody's back than to kindly explain to them why something is wrong. What would be more effective? If Jura wanted me out of the picture, for example. If she thought that my side of the story offsets her own. That whatever she's trying to cover up is now afflicted. Would it be more effective to simply put me down in an off moment? Stab me in the neck while I sleep? Or do you truly think it would be more likely that I would quiet down if she quietly sat me down for a drink and asked, "Please, do not discuss that I lie about you.
Perhaps a poor example. That isn't exactly the kindest baseline, but it is much easier for violence to take hold and to sway things in whichever way they would wish. Hence, I believe, as I said with Vincent, you have to cut these things off at the root. But that again will then cycle. To eliminate violence, you must, of course, yourself resort to violence, and eventually you step into the wrong path with that. Perhaps if we executed Jura in the name of keeping the peace, that would upset Vincent, and Vincent is driven to violence. I'm not sure if he was once perhaps a much more peaceful individual.
He was.
However, if precisely by trying to keep the peace, we only would have made another bloodthirsty violence seeker. It's an impossible conflict. Did you enjoy your time tonight?
At the hellhole?
Yes.
Indeed, it was quite fun.
Good.
Did you?
I believe so.
Even if I only dragged you there?
Such an insistence on that you dragged me places. It's hard to try and take leisure now. With everything ongoing. Feels I enter into these states. Feels like my mind moves incomprehensibly fast. Can't stop my eyes from darting around the room. I can't stop considering any vector of attack, any potential opening. And perhaps a minute, an hour passes, and you're there asking me for something, or somebody is missiving, or the like. I almost grow fearful that I've made myself vulnerable, or that if I was lost in my head as such, then it was left open, and yet, as I enter these moments, waiting, I'm on edge. I know that should something come up, I'm more than prepared, but at the cost of, I suppose, myself. It doesn't feel I'm able to be present in these gatherings, the birthday party, or the festival, or the opening. I blink and I miss it. But at least for what I was present for, I enjoyed my time.
Why are you so willing to sacrifice your peace for my sake?
As I said, you're a beacon. You remind me that not all of what my father told me was a truth. That, as you put it, perhaps there is a world awaiting us of peace. You are someone I don't have to be on edge alone in a room with.
Likewise.
Right. You protect and assist me. It's the least I can do to do the same. We're deep enough underground to penetrate. Are you okay?
I never liked thunder.
The dress from last night. Where did you end up leaving it? If it would give us an excuse to wait out this thunderstorm in an Etherean realm, then we could perhaps go pick it up.
Why not?
Very well. Here. You said something was wrong with yours. I'll see you there in a moment.
Still 215 seconds, jeez.
Thank you. I assume it's in the manor?
Yep. probably should make this more, oh! Didn't mean to do that, sorry. Okay.
Don't get too handsy. Did you leave the door open?
Yes.
Or it was him? Would you like me to follow?
Sure.
Or shall I wait down here?
You can follow, it's fine. I'll, get changed.
Ah, right. Good to see it again. Didn't realize how large it was until actually being inside.
It's not even finished yet. Thank you.
Shall we?
Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh, sorry.
Alright. Give me a moment, I'll check if it's still storming. Skies are clear. Back to the stronghold?
Sure. Bruh. There we go. Thank you.
Perhaps this is a sudden ask, but with how the High Vessel's birthday gathering had went, you didn't have my full attention. At least for the dance.
Are you
I would
asking
like
me
to-
dance?
Yes, I'd like to offer a proper dance to use my full focus. I intended to prompt last night, however, with everything ongoing, I figured it was not the best time.
You spoil me, Atticus.
I didn't think this was too much. It was frankly hastily thrown together. I wasn't exactly sure what constitutes a ballroom or suitable dancing area. have my discs over there, if you would like to select one that you have a liking for. Shall we?
We shall.
I will warn if it wasn't apparent already. Good enough. I'm not exactly well trained on dancing. And that is what we call inopportune timing. I'll be back. Apologies.
No need to apologize.
As I was saying, I'm not exactly the most well trained in dance. I'm fine enough at following those, adapting to my dance partner. So I imagine it helps having a good one.
Are you saying that I'm good at dancing?
Certainly better than me.
At least you're not stepping on my toes. That's commendable.
I wouldn't dare.
Appreciate it. They're quite fragile. Your acting today was impressive.
My acting?
If it was acting.
When?
During the bouncer game.
Ah, right. Well, I didn't have any fancy voice to bring out, but
You did not need a fancy voice.
seemed that the rest did. So we get stuck with Roy and I doing whichever impression that was through the night. Is there another you like? I would pick myself, but where is it? This is when I played for Paige, and she informed me that it isn't the best.
It is quite foreboding.
I suppose so.
Let's see what this one does. Okay.
What were we saying?
Your performance during the bouncer game?
Indeed. What was the word they were calling it afterwards?
Flirting.
I see.
Which I suppose is the equivalent of smooth talking.
I'd consider smooth talking a way of getting what you want. Or at least sugarcoating something.
There's many different kinds of smooth talking.
I see. From what I remember them describing flirting as, seemed more so making statements you believe. No?
True.
A very strange world. I almost volunteered myself, I just didn't understand the game entirely.
Sometimes the best lessons are learned by watching others.
Did help to wait. And by the time that I was actually ready to go up, it seemed about to be the time that everyone else was. Didn't get my chance until, what was it, second to last?
Third to last, it seemed.
A new disc, perhaps? This one doesn't go flying out. Regardless, everyone seemed to have a lot of thoughts on it.
Indeed.
You say that as if you have thoughts on it.
I just thought you did incredibly well.
As did you.
I was merely only acting as bouncer, I suppose.
Well, in general, as the... what did you put it? Entertainment of the night?
Ah. Well, thank you.
It's a... I suppose another form of art that I'm not exactly familiar with. Similar with music or dance. But from a objective standpoint, it seemed like you did well. Everyone else seemed to also agree.
It's been a long time since I've sung for a crowd like that.
I think Olivier was drooling.
Truly.
That might also be passive. I don't look at him all too much.
Really, you seem distracted by his revealed skin.
I call attention to it as it's strange. Usually don't see people dress with that much exposed. Well, I suppose it varies, but it's just interesting. I notice patterns, and he has more skin out every single time. Well, no, I did meet him shirtless, I believe.
Yes, he wears a cape and yet no shirt.
Strange. thought for this one.
That was a pretty good one, I won't lie.
I didn't mind it. Interesting. What would your character have been? Or your situation, or acting?
Depends on who the bouncer was.
If I had volunteered?
Perhaps you might have seen some flirting.
That was a quick one.
Well, that was short, huh? Oop.
I believe... I don't remember when exactly it was, but... we'd spoke a few times, and I was discussing with Paige, who gave me a moment. Seems you have it covered. As I was saying, Paige seemed to find a humor in it. And she had brought up, the same that she had brought up tonight. Something of finding a potential mate, she puts it.
She does seem to bring that up quite a bit.
Indeed. I believe I told her I would ask you about it, but she recommended I do not. However, given that she brought it up again tonight... Is that your intention?
I do find you to be... Oh, flame forbid me saying this. Oh, you're my anchor.
How do you mean?
I know you couldn't... Well, I know only Rexaris could really witness what was going on, during that confrontation, and you were just stuck with the view of the dirt and whatever you could pick up from my voice. When the rain started, I watched my body turn dark as the sky cried, and I fled to the farm shed to take shelter under the roof. Vincent followed and had me backed up against the wall. I was terrified and utterly trapped. It was like I was back there 5 years ago, reliving the day that I died, backed up against a wall and surrounded by goblins. I exploded then, turned blue and put every ounce of soul power I had into my desperate attempt to survive. With Vincent, I was so close to exploding again. I felt that same panic creeping up as the tension grew thick, and it was only a matter of time before I lost control. But you were there too. I had it marked to you. You weren't safe from my power. So I knew I had to shove that panic down, or else I would hurt you too. I couldn't do that. I couldn't allow myself to hurt you. In that moment, you were my anchor. You kept me grounded.
In truth, I suppose you the same. If it weren't for you being at either the events that he decided to show up at, provided how I feel about him, if you weren't there, I would have spoke with him at a minimum. But as I've said, you're a beacon, a light. Having you there by my side is a constant reminder. There's still honor to be taken, peace to be held. And further, to engage in a conflict with any risk of a fight or danger or someone being caught in between. I couldn't let it be you. You ask why I protect you. Well, perhaps I've made other friends or acquaintances that offer degrees of kindness. I'm afraid that I haven't met anyone with your... how did you put it? Optimism? It feels often as the world seems to shun me. As we spoke about. I feel that, given ears and a tail, and a lack of experience, a lack of wartime friends, a lack of a amicable personality. Everyone always has to be on edge with me. You are perhaps the only person to, from the start, offer nothing but kindness and care. Even the High Vessel herself claims to try to see the best in everybody, and yet still, in our first talk, she spoke down to me like a child. I don't believe anyone compares to you, Helia Brimstone. And that is why I protect you.
I see so much kindness in you. And I'll keep reminding you of that.
You're still holding my hand quite tight.
Is that a bad thing?
No. As I said, I recognize patterns.
Maybe I don't want to let go.
You won't need to. I've done my best to prove it thus far, but if ever a sword need to be drawn, it will be mine first.
Three?
Right.
Come on, people, let me have my romantic moment, please. Flames above. Oh, flame forbid. Oh, Lauren, help me. I think I've fallen in love with this man.
As we were saying,
Your sword?
yes, if ever a sword needs to be drawn, it will be mine.
And over my dead body, do you end up in an unmarked grave?
And yet you say I'm kind, or wonder why I serve to protect you.
I think that kindness deserves to be protected. if you should fall, I would light you a flame to burn eternally. Wail as a banshee does upon the passing of souls and sing your story from the tops of cliffs with my every breath.
I'm afraid I don't have the artful or cultural, traditional death practice to follow, but my father always said that the day he passes, I was to bury him somewhere he could see the moon. I would offer the same to you.
That means so much more than you know. Your words, they mean a lot. Thank you.
Of course.
I don't know how much time I have left, but I've learned that I need to spend it wisely. And I think I'd like to spend a lot of it with you.
I'd spend every second.
If it doesn't pull you away from your duties too much.
If need be, I'd drag you along.
It's hardly dragging if I go willingly. I suppose it makes me a hypocrite, huh?
Indeed. But aren't we all?
I suppose so.
I believe you mentioned that you... What was it? You didn't mind being called... the darling or dear?
Darling.
Are there any other words you take kindly to that I should know? If you have preferences in how I address you, then I would certainly comply.
That's actually a really good question. dare I be bold enough to say it, then just call me yours.
Very well.
Shall I ask you the same question?
If you'd like the same answer. Darling.
Now my face is burning.
Isn't it usually?
Usually, yes, but now more so than usual. Good job.
I would offer to sit, or if you're tired, you can rest. But that doesn't exactly look the most comfortable.
Beauty is pain.
As evidenced. Would you like to change again?
I believe that would be wise. I believe that would be wise.
I will see you there.
I'm just going to break it. Ah. I think I just fell in love with him.
Shall we?
Oh.
Ah, right.
Or else it'll melt in my hand. We have to wait 30 seconds. If you transform while I'm holding you, you'll slip out of my hands.
I can wait over here, if need be. I believe I said it earlier, I wouldn't wish to keep a gorgeous dame like yourself waiting.
Very well. I'll be back.
I would hope.
This man. This man. I feel like every nerve is on fire. Every nerve is on fire. Holy. Lord, help me. Okay. It's just faster if I go out the back window. That's a jellyfish.
lost in thought.
Ah. Thank you.
I hope a fine dance to make up for, again, the lack thereof before.
It was beautiful.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you. Ooh.
Suppose I'll let you rest then?
Are you not going to sleep?
I have guard to stand. Unless you would like to talk, then we can do that as well. I know you said you were having dreams.
Not great ones.
We should talk for a bit then. Perhaps at least expend some energy. I would think it's harder to have less than savory dreams if the mind itself is tired.
True, I suppose. No, it's just rerunning memories, at least what I do remember, and wondering if it'll happen again. Or if there is such thing as worse.
You truly think it would happen again?
If there are goblins?
That, as you described, the attack, or I suppose in general a war. You believe they could rise again?
If given the right tools. One of those tools they tried making out of me.
You say it yourself, you said that they tried.
Tried.
At least as far as I would assume, they failed.
Miserably.
Exactly. And given that, besides a seeming choice few, faceless, nameless, voiceless, those goblins that walk alongside us, They've been all but eliminated. I believe that perhaps this news is merely the dying embers of their fight. Well, terrifying, yes. I don't think it gives them all too much leeway.
Well, as you said, we'll have to cut them off at the root.
Exactly. I believe we already have, at least from what I've heard of the war's end. I believe that these are the perhaps final ends. They're the body of the chicken, unaware that it's long dead. Fighting for a machine that is dead already.
Their king is dead. What could they possibly be fighting for anyway?
Exactly. I stay aware and in a way scared, as I believe they definitely still can cause harm. It would be foolish to completely ignore them, but at a long-term view, I don't think you have anything to worry about. And if anyone should reveal themselves or be to threaten you again, I shouldn't even have to say it.
Right. Your sword.
Exactly.
I wish Rexars could have stuck around a little longer today.
You wish to talk to him?
He should know that the High Priestess was threatened. Again.
Right.
Oh, you hear that too. I'm not insane. Okay.
Stay here.
Guess I could have slept in there.
I believe should be solved, no?
I never asked what your tattoo is for.
I suppose an attempt. My mother, when I was younger, for about as long as I had known, it would take to dyeing a clump or a few strands of my hair. And a few years after she was no longer in my life, I began doing it myself. I was still a boy. I felt her absence. My father, on the other hand, didn't think that it was the best use of time or resources. The flowers I would try to gather as a dye mixture, especially when still trying to figure out what she had used. It would, of course, draw from the land around, and he wished simply to leave as little trace as possible. And so when he had finally had enough, he insisted that it stopped. Instead, I decided as a child that if I couldn't But I... Apologies. If I couldn't honor her with the replication of how she had dyed the piece of my hair, then I would dye another part of myself. It was easier to wash dye off of skin until I found a way where it stuck. And thus, the simple scribbles and scratches I would paint on myself one day remained. I suppose a reminder of the past.
It's a piece of art. It's beautiful.
It's hard to remember exactly what it was to stand for, but what I would often try to do was to paint the rivers around. As I walked them, I would trace the dye pattern upwards until either the river ran out or the space on my arm did.
If you ever need dye, let me know.
Hmm?
If you ever need dye, let me know.
I have a certain mixture that I use every once in a while, but that I will. What about you? Do you have any tattoos or markings?
Scars. Mostly on my back, where nails were driven into my skin, and because my body is so hot, they melted. And then cold water was splashed on me, and as the metal hardened, they would rip out the hardened, melted remains, I suppose, along with chunks of my skin, and it never healed back properly. Hence why I don't like showing off my back very much. tattoos. Flame forbid, I was never allowed to go get one.
Believe me, if you thought that my father was overreacting about the hair, you should have seen. The night I had when I returned home with my arm marked up.
Sounds like he was hard on you.
With good reason. I was young when we left the general pack. I didn't know any better, and I know I wasn't always the most happy, at least in my younger years. He helped me understand there was good reason. If it weren't for him making the hard decision to leave, then I wouldn't be alive now today. It's as I said, the hard decisions must be made to keep the peace. He had to be hard on me to make sure that I understood. The moment you let people out of line is the moment that you lose your grip.
Still, there shouldn't be complete hardness in a life. There has to be room for softness too.
All good things in moderation.
Including moderation.
And as I said, you are a beacon. And thus I suppose my, as you said, is needed softness.
I'm glad you're alive.
Likewise.
I should probably sleep.
Probably. I'll let you get to bed. And if you don't mind, I'm also going to change. Sundu put together this outfit for me. It was just for the Netherian ball. But she has a habit of making the shirts quite tight.
Ah. Oh, do you want me to step out, or?
If you would need to. But I do not mind.
I'm crazy. Flame forbid. Oh, Lord, help me. I'm utterly crazy.
One moment.
Oh, I forgot my crafting table.
Apologies, I thought that in the wolf form perhaps I could still take it off, but... sorely mistaken. Regardless. Good night, Helia.
Good night, Atticus. You do know the bed is big enough for 2 people.
I didn't wish to intrude upon your space.
You were not intruding in the slightest.
Very well.
He's shirtless. Good night, Atticus.
Good night.
You look good without a shirt.
Really?
I'd say so.
Usually it's been that I've had to put on clothing to draw comment. I suppose this would be a first that removing any gains the same.
This stronghold has been here for how many years and withstood storms? It's fine, right?
Very.
Okay.
You have nothing to worry about. You still have the... Shocking, I did not even have to say it. I noticed at a point you were clinging to it. Well asleep, that is. I had briefly looked in to make sure that you were alright.
It spelled like you.
You're alright. If you would like, I would assume that I also smell like me.
I believe that is where the scent comes from, yes.
If it would make you feel better, you may do the same. Or, given that I'm a bit taller, I can cling to you as you did to this. Whichever would make you more comfortable, I suppose.
I do feel quite safe in your arms.
Very well. You have nothing to worry about. Just rest.
Thank you, Atticus.
Hmm?
Thank you.
It's the least I can do, darling.
You're gonna give me butterflies if you keep that up.
I believe Rixaris mentioned something about that.
It's a good thing. Don't worry.
So seemed the connotation, yes. What else was there? He said that He said I called you pretty. I don't remember that, but if I understand the word correctly, I believe I would agree.
Believe you said gorgeous dame.
Which I stand by.
I appreciate the compliment.
I'm just... to my understanding, flirting. The storm will pass.
So it will. Jeez. Is the mother angry or something? I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Well, there was a shriekling gathering, and then a seemingly predominantly wolf gathering. I suppose now the flower spirits in nature is waiting its turn.
Alright. Maybe she feels left out. Very left out.
I'll take that as confirmation.
Good night, Atticus.
Good night, Helia.